I've been on Reddit for years, lurking in all the usual subs. True crime, creepy, unsolved mysteries, you name it. But nothing could have prepared me for what I stumbled upon a few months ago. I'm still trying to make sense of it, and I'm not even sure if I'll ever be able to. All I know is that I'm not the same person I was before this event. It all started innocently enough, as these things often do. One night, as I was browsing Reddit late into the evening, I found a strange post. It didn't appear on any of the major subreddits I usually frequent. In fact, I don't even know how I found it. The post was titled, "Where They Go When They're Lost." It was posted in a sub I'd never heard of, something like RR Lost Threads, which I assumed was about missing people or cold cases. Curious, I clicked on it. The post was brief and to the point. It simply asked, "Have you ever wondered where the lost threads go? The people who vanish without a trace? The files that disappear from your computer? Follow the clues below, but be warned. You might not like what you find." Beneath it was a series of strange links, each one a different website, each more bizarre than the last. Some led to dead ends, while others took me to obscure blogs or encrypted forums filled with cryptic messages. My curiosity got the better of me, and I started to follow these leads, believing it was all part of some elaborate ARG. I mean, this was Reddit, right? People create strange puzzles for others to solve all the time. But as I kept clicking, something strange began to happen. My computer screen would flicker every few minutes. Sometimes my mouse would move on its own, just slightly, almost imperceptibly. But I noticed. I'm a tech guy by nature, so I chalked it up to some glitch or maybe a bit of malware. But the more I delved into these threads, the more I started noticing strange things happening around me too. Not just on my computer. One night I had just clicked a new link that led me to a website called Thread Ear Online. The site was bare, except for a single image of an old, dilapidated house. There was nothing particularly striking about it, but something about it made me uneasy. It felt wrong, like looking at a place that shouldn't exist, yet was somehow familiar. I zoomed in on the image, hoping to find some hidden clue, when my doorbell rang. Now I live alone and my house is in a relatively quiet neighborhood. I wasn't expecting anyone, and it was well past midnight. I hesitated but eventually walked to the door, expecting to see a delivery I might have forgotten about, or maybe a neighbor needing something. But when I opened the door, no one was there. The street was completely empty. As I stepped back inside, I heard a faint click from my computer. When I returned to my desk, the image of the house had changed. Now, there was a figure standing in the window, a shadowy outline of someone watching from inside. I slammed my laptop shut and tried to shake off the feeling of dread creeping up my spine. It's just a game, I told myself. Just some Reddit RG trying to spook people. I tried to sleep that night, but my mind kept wandering back to that image, to the figure in the window. I convinced myself that I was imagining it, that the stress from work, combined with too many hours online, was playing tricks on me. The next morning when I woke up, my laptop was open, even though I knew I had closed it the night before. The screen was still on that same website, only this time, the figure in the window was gone. The house was empty again. Something was off. I knew that much, but I didn't stop. I couldn't. In the following weeks, things got worse. Random objects in my house would move. Sometimes I'd hear footsteps in the middle of the night, soft and slow, like someone was walking through my home. At first, I thought maybe I had a break-in, but there were never any signs of forced entry. One night, I was lying in bed, trying desperately to fall asleep, when I heard the unmistakable sound of whispering, low and unintelligible, but definitely there. I couldn't make out the words, but it seemed to be coming from my computer. When I finally worked up the courage to get out of bed and check, my heart nearly stopped. My laptop was open again, the screen displaying the image of that same house. But this time, there were multiple figures, all standing at different windows, staring directly at me through the screen. I tried to shut the laptop, but it wouldn't close. No matter how hard I pressed, the screen stayed on, and the figures just kept watching. I panicked and ripped the battery out of the back, forcing the laptop to go dark. But the moment I did, the whispering stopped, and an eerie silence settled over my apartment. That night, I barely slept. I kept seeing those figures in the windows every time I closed my eyes. But the worst part? The feeling that I was being watched didn't go away, even after I powered down my computer. It felt like something had followed me, like whatever I had found on that subreddit had crossed over into the real world. I was scared, but I needed answers. I couldn't just let this go. I logged back into Reddit the next day, determined to find more information about RR lost threads. But when I searched for the subreddit, it was gone. Completely wiped from the site. No posts, no trace. It was as if it had never existed. I spent hours trying to find it, searching through archives and old Reddit threads, but I found nothing. I even reached out to some users who had interacted with the original post, but none of them replied. It was like everyone involved had just vanished. Then one day I received a private message from a user named Threadmaster. The message was brief, just 2 words. Stop looking. I wish I had listened. Over the next few days, the activity in my apartment escalated. Objects would disappear only to reappear in strange places, and the whispering grew louder, more insistent. I started to see things out of the corner of my eye, shadowy figures just like the ones in the windows of that house. Every time I turned to face them, they would vanish, leaving me questioning my own sanity. But the breaking point came when I found a message carved into the wall of my bedroom. It wasn't there when I had gone to bed the night before. But when I woke up, it was waiting for me, scrawled in deep, jagged letters. You're one of us now. I don't know what that means, but I'm terrified to find out. I've stopped using my laptop altogether, but it doesn't seem to matter. The figures are still here. I see them everywhere now. In the reflections of my windows, in the dark corners of my apartment. I don't know how to make them go away. I've tried to reach out to the police, to tell someone, anyone, what's been happening. But every time I try to speak about it, something stops me. My words get stuck in my throat, and all I can hear are those whispers, telling me to stay quiet. I don't know how much longer I can live like this. I don't know if I'll ever be free of whatever I brought into my life. But if you're listening, if you're reading this, I beg you, don't go looking for our lost threads. If you see that post, if you see the house, don't click. Some threads should remain lost.